Hey, it's Les from Comfortable Shoes Studio. Welcome to another episode of Art Making, a chat while I paint episode. In this episode, I am using some very inexpensive watercolors from Five Below to colorize a pen and ink sketch I did of intestines. They're the results from my colonoscopy. I'm not going to go into the details of what was found. You just need to know I don't have cancer of the colon. But I thought that drawing intestines would be super fun. I actually thought I had recorded myself drawing the intestines. Sadly, I did not. So these watercolors really behave a lot more like gouache than watercolors in that they're fairly chalky. They seem to have a lot of filler in them, so really when I use them, I don't use them like I would watercolors because the coloration on the page is relatively pale. But when you use them more like a gouache, which is a thicker, pastier style of painting, they're pretty nice. So I was pretty happy with them in that sense. So the thing that I wanted to chat about today is the idea of sharing things you're excited with people when you don't know what the reception is going to be. And so by that I mean like when you are excited about art or art journaling, or you're excited about photography, or maybe some other creative thing, or maybe it's not a creative thing. Maybe you're excited about a movie and you share that with someone. Um, I see that as something that I do often with friends and people that I trust. Um, and so I'm going to share a story with you about a time when I shared that I make YouTube videos with someone that I like very much, and the reception was frosty. So I'll preface this story with I shared that I make YouTube videos with this person because I expected the reception to be largely positive. When it comes to creative things, this person in my life is a relatively positive person. Um, but they did not know how to respond to the fact that I make videos about art journaling and art making and creativity and have a podcast or had a podcast about these things. Um, so back when I was first reviving this channel, I met with this person and I was very excited about reviving this channel. And we're sitting around, we're having a cup of coffee, and I'm telling her, yeah, I'm super stoked. This channel, I finally got my overhead setup done again. I'm starting to shoot videos again. I'm doing these voiceovers. I'm using my microphone, blah blah blah. I'm excited about it. And she was like kind of confused. She's like, "What do you mean you're reviving a channel?" I was like, "Yeah, once upon a time, I was like a relatively well-known YouTube art instructor. And, back in the day, having 5,000 or 6,000 subscribers on YouTube was kind of a big deal. Um, and I was actually monetized on YouTube relatively early on. And the look on her face went from like inquisitive and supportive when I started talking about being a YouTuber. And I think some of that is because there is a change in how people look at self-hosted or self-created content like what I do. But I think she was more thinking that I was a YouTuber in like vlogging, not art instruction. Um, but like her face, like had to school it. As I was like telling her about it, she had to like swallow a chuckle. Like she was actively going to laugh at this thing that I really enjoy doing. And, that told me a bunch of things, which I'll go into in a minute. But it was really shocking to me that this person, who largely, when we do have conversations, is pretty positive and supportive and is an artsy person and is generally exceptionally kind. So the idea that they would not be supportive around this thing um, was a surprise to me. But what that also told me was that this is not a safe person to share my excitement over um, uh, my creative enterprises. Like, I love making YouTube videos. For me, it is a whole other sort of creative practice. It is a lot of work, but it is a form of work that I greatly enjoy. Um, but this is like something else that I was thinking about. It's like when your creativity is like a sapling, it's not, it's not firmly rooted, it's really young, it's tender. Um, Someone responding like that can be like an axe cutting down your sapling with one stroke. It's really crappy. It's a really crappy thing to do to someone is to take a dump on something they enjoy. And that's something that has happened throughout my life. Like growing up, I mean, this is like a Gen X thing, but growing up, like if you liked certain types of music, like you couldn't share that with certain people. Um, they just dump on it. And I find that some people still engage in that kind of behavior. So, I will now feel people out before I tell them that I make YouTube videos. I'm not necessarily going to share that with just anyone. Um, but yeah, I just, I don't know, it's one of those things that I find especially crappy, um, is that there are people out there who just will dump on something you love for whatever reason. And, I think that's born out of their own insecurity. And to me, it's also pretty sad. It's a sad state that someone is going to dump on something you love because maybe they don't have something that they love in the same way. Maybe they're jealous of your success. Who knows? Who knows what is going on with them or why they're taking a dump on a thing that you love. But yeah, the lesson learned for me with this person is not to trust them with the things that I enjoy that maybe they won't. So with that, I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate you viewing these videos and checking them out, hitting the thumbs up, the like. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Maybe you'll like more of what I do. If you really like what I do, it's important that you share it. That's like the most important thing for any sort of creator's videos is that the viewers who really like it share it with their friends. Um, and I always appreciate the comments, the likes, the conversations. I appreciate that. I'm just going to say thank you, and I will see you next time. Bye.